Ladies and gentlemen from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles.
Hey, Shawn, I'm over here thinking about, do we know anybody on Tampa Bay Buccaneers team?
We do.
Are we good?
Yeah. What you mean?
We can get them on next couple of weeks?
I'm going to try to. Next week. I'm going to try to.
Tom Brady's jumping on right now.
TB?
Yeah, man.
What? I lose my mind.
Actually, a good tie-in for Shawn's fight the week he fought Errol. I rode the elevator with Byron Leftwich.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a good weekend. I remember that. They was all
He's a fan too.
Yeah, he was a fan.
I was about to say, there's a freaking something coming to attack you, Carson. It's your dog, though.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh man.
I thought somebody was rolling up on me. Luis making a little move.
How can I help him?
We had a funny story. So we rode the elevator with Byron Leftwich. Congratulations, Super Bowl champion. And it was me, my cousin, and he had bought me a Byron Leftwich Marshall bobblehead. Like he saw it like a random sporting goods store. And so I was like, oh, Byron. I was like, I actually have one of your Marshall bobbleheads. And he was like, oh man, that means you're old. I said, I hate to say this, but I think that means you're old. If I have your college bobblehead. He was like, yeah, true. But yeah, no, he was an SP fan.
Yeah. Let me do it. Everybody, welcome to the Porterway podcast, soon to be Shawn Porter podcast. I got guys that don't know how to act.
Look how they do you. Hey, let the fame go to their head.
Normally we have our guests come in as we are going, but today is a little bit different. We got two guys on today. Mark Dorvac. I said that all the way wrong too. Say how you say it? Dvorak. Excuse me. Mark Dvorak, runner-up of this year's fantasy football game season. And then we have with the Cleveland Browns jersey on representing Chris Vassallo, also back home in Akron, Ohio. He is the champion.
The champ. Hey, what's the name of y'all league?
We don't have no name for our league. Okay. Listen, so here's the thing. Quick story. I told the guys, I said, listen, whoever wins the fantasy league this year can come on the podcast. You guys get 5 to 10 minutes of fame. Whoever wins, everybody's for it. And a little beknownst to myself and Carson, you are. I thought that I was going to win the league this year, and it was not going to be a big thing to host myself on my podcast. But I have to say congratulations to Chris Vassallo. You always, like every season, you are like relatively, like you're always in the running for the championship. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys. You got Drew Alborio, got Air Heisterman, and then I think I'll put myself in that kind of tiered group. We're kind of vying for a championship, and then Mark, I think, is at 3 runner-up. Mark?
Damn. Yeah, man, I got to break through soon.
Damn.
Shoot, that's way better than me.
I was gonna say, for context, since you guys are in the league, where did Shawn finish? I think the fans would be curious.
Oh man,
where'd you finish?
I think I was last, if not last, second to last.
Dang, Shawn.
Yeah, and that's I think the closest I've come might have been in the halfway, but I'm usually last or second to last. But I digress. Every year I come back full of steam and fired up, right? I'm always the one to say, hey, are we doing it this year? And then I'm always the first to bow out every year. So congratulations, man. What did you guys catch the game tonight? I'm assuming, right? What you guys think about the game?
7 rings, man. 7 rings for Brady.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty decent.
Is that 7 out of 10?
Yeah, this was his 10th.
Damn. So he went. Dang. He only lost 3 times. That's impressive.
The argument today is I mean, there's no argument that he's the greatest quarterback ever. You know, you have the guys like Joe Montana, who they are so iconic to the game that it's really hard to say there's another player that's better than Joe Montana. But statistically and overall, the way he plays the game, Tom Brady is the guy. And it's funny because even myself, I don't look at him so much as an athlete as I do a great quarterback, a great player in the NFL who can play that position better than anyone ever. And even I look at him like that, but I don't look at him like an athlete. And the big argument today is, as great as a quarterback he is he that great of an athlete?
I got him down as the greatest athlete ever.
Ooh, ever. Greatest athlete ever.
Because it's so hard to get there. And he got there 10 times and won 7.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
but it's
impressive.
the position, though. You know what I mean?
Huh?
It's the position. It's the position. You know?
Do y'all want me to say what I'm saying?
No, it's just I was gonna say I think it depends on how you define athlete, because I don't think physically he's the best athlete. I think that would be somebody like Bo Jackson, Jim Thorpe,
Right.
but like the most accomplished athletic career, like he's kind of pushing that. And like Ant says, tough to get there. Serena Williams is up there, obviously MJ, Bron. It's just tough, and it's so hard to compare across sports.
Hey, don't forget Kobe. People always want to. Don't forget the Mamba.
What do y'all think, Mark and Chris? Since y'all here for another, I'm gonna let y'all get off. No, because I'm coming back next year and it's on. What do y'all think? Who's is Tom Brady? Is he elite athlete, or just elite quarterback?
I think he's an elite leader. So I quarterback, right? Quarterback's leader of a team. He's not super athletic. I mean, his arm is, but I mean, you think of athletic, you think of like Lamar Jackson, right? But the thing is he was able to change teams, get away from Bill Belichick, and go to the Buccaneers and win another Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's outstanding.
Yeah,
one and done.
Yeah.
Did either of y'all have him on as a quarterback on y'all team?
Nope.
Who was your guys' MVP this season for fantasy?
I had Justin Herbert. He was a sleeper. I actually picked him up on waivers.
I think I had Lamar Jackson.
Mark, who was your quarterback?
I had Russell Wilson, who took a nosedive at the end of the season, so that was tough to watch.
Man. Shawn, who was your running back, Shawn? I'm trying to figure out how Shawn do so bad. Like,
Man,
inconsistently bad. That's the concern.
I did it 1 year. But Shawn, I've always known Shawn to be a loser.
I'll tell y'all, and this is how you can establish Tom Brady as one of the greatest athletes of all time. One of the greatest athletes of all time. There's a separation when you get to a certain level, and that separation, from what I've experienced, is all mental. It's all internal. The things that you possess internally is what takes you to the next level, which is why a guy like Tom Brady can be average at Michigan, but then turn professional and go to a very good team and have a coach who can help him excel and do better. But everything internally, what we don't see, the athleticism that we don't see, it's all in his mind, and it's all in his heart, and it's all on the inside. And that's the separation. So for me, the separation with how bad I am.
I thought you were deflecting that whole thing. I thought you were just going completely.
No.
Me too.
I was like, dang.
So, but in saying that, and I guess we'll do this with fantasy football. I think the guys who are able to win and excel and do that time and time again, I think that they know how to prepare for their drafts. They know how to set up their lineups. They can take a look at who's gonna be able to do what. They know they can look at the numbers. But for me, it all starts with the draft. I'm all right. I'm going to say it. I get intimidated and I get nervous when the draft comes. And so I swear to God, every single time.
You get face for a living.
I know. But here's my thing. My thing is, if I pick this guy, they're going to say this. If I pick that guy, they're going to say that. and I just get so nervous. So I always end up picking who I think they're going to be acceptable with.
What?
Yes. So sometimes I even I always like get down to who would the auto draft pick, and I say, okay, yeah, I'll go with the auto draft because they're right, So I mean, my whole thing is the draft. I think the draft is where I always fumble, and then from there, I'm never able to pick up the ball and start running. It's a mess when I draft. Carson was there one year when I drafted, and it was right after a boxing match, so I was like hella sleepy. I'm like falling asleep, and I wake up and I just look at the screen. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna do good. And I picked was it Mark Ingram? Yeah, and Mark Ingram ended up balling out that year. But that's a situation where I don't have the pressure on me, and or at least I don't feel it, and I'm able to like think clearly. But normally, I fumble it on the draft because I'm so worried about what they're gonna say about whoever it is that I'm drafting. So yeah, you're right. Like I take punches, but yeah, like I'm intimidated at what they're gonna say to me. So I get nervous and lock up.
Not only do you take punches, but also like fashion wise, you're very like, who cares? This is my steez, like bump you, whatever. Why is fantasy football the thing you're insecure about?
Because you know what I really think it is? I think because I'm not able to win, I don't think I don't have like confidence that I'll win. Be done. That I'll do it. And then so like with everything else, like you said, like dressing, the way I speak and all whatever, I'm confident in that because I've done it and I at least to myself it works and I can do it. But when it comes to the fantasy football league, man, I hate it. And like every year I say I'm not going to do it next year, but I'll see you fellas in a couple of months.
Hey man, if I can compete, you can compete.
Yeah, don't do that, Mark. Don't do that. Don't do that. Any final words, fellas, before we let you go? Thanks for coming on to the podcast. Thanks for staying up. You guys are back home. I know it's a little late there, and you guys got 9 to 5s and all that good stuff. Everybody's healthy back home. I hope. Yeah, good.
Speaking of 9 to 5s, Dvorak, drop the law firm, man, in case anyone back home looking for legal advice.
Yeah, Cleveland and Akron, Abdallah and Dvorak. You guys can find us on Facebook, Google us, and appreciate it, Shawn.
Congratulations, man. How long have you had your own firm?
About 3 years now.
Oh man, wow! I didn't know that. When I was around, you were like there, like just trying to push papers for everybody else and get the job done.
Man, yeah, no, it's good. It's good to start your own thing.
Yeah,
we gotta put in the work. So
yeah, you have social media, anything like that you can leave with everybody?
Yeah, I mean Abdallah and Dvorak. So we gotta just use our last names in Ohio. That's how it goes. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn and all that.
All right.
Hey, Shawn, why don't we tag him in there? Put his stuff in there.
We will. Yeah, we'll drop
sure
the info for sure.
Also, Mark, when I sue Shawn because he's gonna try to go solo on me and Carson, Shawn, try to push him to settle. Or...
Yeah, you got to call me, man. You got to call me.
I got you, man.
Hey, you know what? He said, call you. Smart guy. He said, call me because that's when he start billing.
Oh man.
Chris, you got anything?
Well, the only thing I got is, my wife's pregnant with our firstborn. She's actually asleep right now. She fell asleep at halftime. Nice. So pray for a healthy birth here coming July.
Yeah, I forgot that you had mentioned that in the group, man. Congratulations awesome. Again.
Yeah, congratulations.
And we're all looking forward to that for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Brown Super Bowl 2022.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, you guys take it easy. We'll see you next time.
All right.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yeah, so blessing that the fight that I had with Errol Spence Jr. was downtown at the Staples, and ran into some of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now champions. At the time they were not, but I was able to reach out to some of those guys and all that good stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to get at least one of them on the show next week. So, but anyway, man, I thought it was a pretty good game too. I just Mahomes could not find anything. Todd Bowles, huh?
Yeah, it was rough. Honestly, correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Bucs not do to Mahomes what the other teams did to Brady in those Super Bowls that Brady lost? where you pressure him, and Brady always had these great offenses, and then the Giants those 2 years, and then the Eagles. It was just like Mahomes, they shuffled the offensive line around, and he even had some throws today that were still crazy, and you were like, and then the receiver, that was all bad for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think this is the first time Tom had a good defense. The first two he won, they had great defense, but the last couple, it was all offense. But yeah, he had a great defense. Devontae White, the middle linebacker? He's the quarterback of the defense. Every time, even if he doesn't hit you, he stands over you. I love it if I'm on his side, but if I'm on the side, don't stand over me, man. We're gonna have a problem.
And you mentioned that, Antoine Winfield Jr. with the peace sign on Tyreek Hill,
just so close to him too. I was like, dang.
I mean, you get the 15, you already got the turnover. I wasn't mad at it. Like, hey, peace out, man. Catch that L. But no, I thought
boy.
I thought.
And was you jumping up and down for TB?
Great. I mean, it's greatness, man. It's just greatness.
Yeah.
I remember, like I said, I told you this last time when we lost Kobe. I was a hater on Kobe. I'll never be a hater of greatness again. I don't care. First off, I don't know these people personally, so I can't be mad at them. But when I watch witnessing greatness, I'm gonna sit there and enjoy it. From TB, I don't know if I ever see this again. This is crazy. To go to 10 of them and win 7. It's crazy. And it's great. He's great, man.
Yeah.
He's up there with him, Jordan. Man, he's up there, man. It's who up there with them? That's another level.
I remember I always argued that Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady, and I think that they had not two completely different styles of playing the position, but I think that even though Peyton Manning was a little more intellectual, it seemed, because he called plays at the line of scrimmage and audibles and things like that. I think that was just so new and fresh to us. I was young, when at least when he first came into the league and was doing it, that it was just like so amazing to me. But I mean, if anything, Tom proved that you don't have to be that, or you don't have to be intellectual at the line of scrimmage enough to call audibles or know the right play to run and things like that, but you can still just get the job done. I mean, at the end of the day, he's such a solid athlete that it's really is amazing. I thought that Kansas City was going to win today. I thought that they had.
I did too.
I just thought that their weapons, like their weapons are, until tonight, were unstoppable. Even in close games that they've won and lost, I just felt like they were unstoppable. I mean, until, go ahead.
The stat they gave during the game was Patrick Mahomes had never lost a game in the NFL by double digits.
Right.
That shows you how good the damn team is. But that's just, I thought they were going to be able to get it done, but Mahomes didn't have the time, and then it seemed like when he was able to make one of those special plays, he threw the one where he was like 3 inches off the ground.
Hey, yeah, Carson, he made some amazing plays.
Yeah.
They just didn't make the catches.
And I think that was
some stuff to be hurt. He was limping.
I think that was maybe it. I think they were just kind of down maybe with how it was going. And then when he's making those plays and then it's hitting receivers in the face mask, and it was. I was very surprised at the result, to say the least.
When they went in the locker room, I said either they're going to fall apart in the locker room or come together. I felt like they fell apart.
Yeah,
I felt like they went in the locker room and immediately started arguing.
Nothing changed.
Huh?
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
And we've seen them come back, and not just once or twice. We consistently have seen the Kansas City Chiefs be able to fight back and win. And look outstanding doing it. So of course, because it's the Super Bowl, that's what you want. Yeah, I thought it might go that way, but of course, we all know, like as former athletes and as big football fans and sports fans, we know that if it doesn't happen this first drive, then it more than likely ain't gonna happen. And right after that first drive, I was like, let me start getting ready for this podcast, because
they even said in the pregame, like, these quarterbacks are so good. Whoever gets behind, don't worry. Like, they'll bring them back. And so you were kind of waiting for it. Just we all know how great Patrick Mahomes is, and it was like, okay, like you guys gonna get it together, get it rolling, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
Does he come back? He goes out. If I'm him,
Brady, he comes back.
Damn, at 40.
Yeah, I think he comes.
I think he's coming back.
I win this one, I'll leave, but Brady is different, man.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He seems to be. I mean, you saw him getting in the. He was getting in the Honey Badger's face today. He seems like he's as like energized and into it as he's ever been.
Carson, he comes back at 43 and wins another one.
Yeah, man.
I don't even know. That's like Floyd coming through and knocking out all the welterweights right now.
Say
like
knock out. Come on.
I mean, walk through y'all like he walks through people. That's literally what it is. Like not. That's literally.
I got you. Yeah. No, you're
impressive
right.
It would be.
You're right.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah, he's not. It's funny because I think Chris mentioned he's just a great leader. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the most accurate. He's damn sure not the most athletic, but he just wins. Like he figures out a way. I don't think he does too much, and he doesn't like shy away from big moments. He's one of a kind for sure.
Like Ant just said, I mean, like two of the most technically sound athletes of our generation are Tom Brady and Floyd Mayweather. Most technically sound athletes, does everything right when it's that time, and everything along the way, is accordingly to get the job done. So boom, there it is.
And I mean, for the most part, his whole career, as people would say about Floyd, they said Floyd didn't waste shots. Floyd just not just going to throw something, to throw something. Right. He's going to throw it just because he sees something open. Yeah. For the most part, Tom's career, he didn't really just throw them up. Mm-hmm. Last week he had a terrible week, but for the most part, he's really thinking before he throws anything. It's just, and like I said, it's a whole different mindset.
He wasn't Brett Favre. Like he was, like you said, he wasn't a gunslinger where he's taking huge chances. He knew where he needed the ball to go, and if it wasn't there, it wasn't there. And
it's like he mastered the game. The only people that can beat him is New York Giants. Besides that, he mastered the game.
Yeah.
And they got some weapons on offense too, and obviously that defense was. I have to give a shout to Jason Pierre-Paul because it's crazy that he's playing. Yeah. And to still be able to make an impact like he is.
They made him some custom gloves.
Yeah, man.
He was a monster today too.
Yeah.
And what about Gronkowski? Does he come back?
Woo! Gronk was balling. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, I want to party with that dude. I don't even drink, but that dude looks like fun.
Yeah, he looks like he has a good time. I remember when he was doing the advertisement for Tide Pods, and they were like, "Yeah, he looks like that was right around when people were eating the Tide Pods." Like, he looks like he might be the one eating the Tide Pods, but I would assume he comes back. I didn't get the vibe that this was like a last hurrah, really.
Well, I think the sense was for Tom Brady that it could be the last hoorah, and I think moving forward, Gronkowski came back to play for Tampa Bay specifically because Tom Brady was there. So, that's why I asked if Tom is gone, is Gronkowski gone?
Yes. If that happens, yes.
That's that
Brady leaves, Gronk leaves for sure. Yeah. I don't think either of them leave.
But also we have to remember that he did retire, and he was a little tired and a little banged up. That tight end position is pretty hard. Is a tough position to, your body takes a lot through the course of a year. But so that also is why I asked if Gronkowski would come back, because he's coming back from retirement. So
he'll just roll with Brady.
Yeah. Do you know another reason why he retired, Shawn?
Yeah.
That was crazy. My man was traded to Detroit Lions and said, "I'm not traded. I'm retired."
Yeah,
a little WWE action in there.
Right. Yeah.
He's built for WWE too.
He is. I would like to see him like kind of really dive into that. I think he just did something a little bit more, a little bit more for the antics. But I like to see him dive into it. I think that he could. It would translate for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those big tight ends. He's just a problem. He's too big to guard with a DB, and he's almost a little too fast for linebackers. But it's just like, he's big.
I was in denial forever too.
How big he is?
No, I was in denial. I was in denial at the fact that like he's been everything that he was doing and doing everything he was doing. I was just like, I don't know. I was not a fan of his, and I guess like kind of like you, like just kind of hating for no reason or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I really like slowed it down and started taking a look at it, I'm like, all right, he is too fast for the linebackers. He's too big for the corners and the safeties, and he can catch. He's an athlete, you know.
He uses the one thing that comes to mind with Gronk is his catch radius. He always seems to. There's always catches right, like either way up high or way down
And
low.
he comes down.
And he seems to always come down with those. He uses his hands better than a lot of those tight ends. A lot of the body catches.
Yeah.
And he's basically LeBron with pads on.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Now he's athletic, but he
course.
boxes out. He comes down with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to guard. People always say LeBron will be a problem in pads.
He was a problem in pads in high school for sure.
I'm talking about elite.
Yeah.
White LeBron.
Hey, you know what's crazy is when everything happened and Tom Brady first went to Tampa Bay, it was like Tampa Bay got really hot, even hotter than it already was, you know, with the town itself.
Yeah.
And
we should have got Big E on.
And I talked to him. It wasn't happening. I talked to him. And it got really exciting. But the way that they started off the season, it fizzled out real quick. It was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it. I don't know what they're going to look like. And then as they started to kind of inch their way towards making the playoffs and stuff like that, people just started kind of jumping back on the fact that Tom Brady could really pull this off. And now that he has, I just feel like there's so much excitement down there around the Buccaneers organization, and it's going to last for some time.
And go past the Buccaneers. So within the last sporting years, the Tampa Bay Rays went to the World Series, lost, but went. The Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
The Tampa Bay Rowdies in the USL went to the final. The final got canceled, so that's soccer. And then the Bucks win. So it's like every sports team in Tampa was like, yeah, we're just going to have a crazy year.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
A great run. That's like an LA run because LA has all those sports teams, so they're always due for one. But Tampa's like kind of a random one to make that happen.
And remember, I always say I don't pay attention to the regular season. Man, my Saints handled them easy 2 times.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, they put it on us.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like they turned a different switch on.
Yeah, man.
Carson Merck, your guy was in the halftime show.
Yeah, Weeknd did his thing.
What'd you think?
I thought he did well. I'm curious how limited it was based on COVID and everything, on how he had to kind of adjust things. But no, I thought he did well. I thought he sounded more live than other Super Bowl performers, if that makes sense. It seemed like he was actually singing to me.
Yeah, no, I felt like in the past,
some of them have felt like a little lip syncy to me, but I thought he was doing his thing. But no, he's a great performer. He can't dance at all. He is an amazing singer, and you watch any performance or video he has, he can't dance a lick. But
so that tonight was the most I've paid attention to him.
Yeah,
practically since he surfaced. And I said, this dude sounds good live. Like I'm pretty sure I could go to a show and enjoy watching him do what he does because he sounds really good live. I didn't, again, it had to have been this nonsense going on in the world that prevented him from doing a lot of things that we've seen a lot of these other acts do in the halftime show.
No guest star either.
Yeah, I expected it to be bigger. I thought that our guys, my guys were going to come Daft Punk. I thought that Daft Punk was going to come out.
I was like, man, I hope they come in. I hope they just cut to them rocking on. They got the mask on.
Yeah, I played myself up. I seen the moon rising in the background. I was like, oh, they going to be on the moon. Like, I really played myself up into thinking that Daft Punk was going to be there. So I think if anything, we can say that it definitely was a really good performance, but a little limited, and like I said to you, not as magical as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair assessment. It was what I expected, and I wasn't mad at that. Like it was pretty much what I thought it was going to be, and I was pleased coming away from that.
He's coming next April. Y'all going to check him out? He's coming here to Vegas.
He announced the 2022 tour, which is hilarious to me. Like he's like, hey, if you know what you're doing in 365 days plus, But yeah,
I think everybody chalking up this year.
Yeah. No, he
sad.
Yeah, he is definitely somebody I would like to see live. I
thought about that too. Have you been to live concerts before, Carson?
Yeah, I'm about to say Carson.
Literally at a live concert with you.
Oh, besides that, man. Besides that didn't count because I took you.
Yeah,
I meant
yeah. I saw maybe Young Jeezy in back in Akron. It was like Young Jeezy, Lil Wayne, and somebody else.
Blossom.
Yeah, Blossom. I saw the Temptations at Akron Civic Theater back home. Obviously, saw Lupe with you. Is what I was referencing. But I'm not a huge concert guy.
I had a feeling you weren't. And while I was watching the weekend, I was like, I wonder, because I was thinking I would go see him live, and I was like, I wonder if Carson.
Yeah, he's one I would like to see live.
Okay.
I tell you what, don't make it a couples night because I don't want to go. You know I get enforced into some shit like that.
Hey, one more thing on the Super Bowl, man. What about the commercials? I was digging the commercials.
Oh, commercials cool.
Yeah, commercials.
That was another thing I was curious about how they were gonna have to kind of adjust with COVID and everything, but no, they were good. I'm not a big Tracy Morgan fan, but both of his made me chuckle with the rep Pretty Sure compared to Certain.
Yeah,
there were some quality ones.
I thought it was a little mellow this year.
Yeah.
But I felt like there was some that really like stuck out to me. I was like, all right, I'm digging this. I saw the Bud Light commercial coming, and I knew that there were going to be like just legends, like all of the previous commercials. And I really liked that one, especially I was just with Cedric the Entertainer about 2 weeks ago. So it was cool to see that commercial and the specific.
Pick up that name you dropped on the floor.
Hey, and Russell Peters.
Dang.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Two name drops.
Hey, what was y'all doing?
Looking for replacements.
I'll be completely honest with you. That show, the Porter Way podcast, will be 10 million times better with Russell Peters and such an entertainment.
Looking for replacements.
Hey, Carson, we can give a run for their money.
Not literally. Literally for money.
Not literally. No, not literally.
Yeah.
We can go bar for about 5 minutes.
Said I'm not too familiar with Russell Peters, but Cedric, that's a legend.
Yeah, both of them. I look forward to having them on the show. And I'm gonna stop name dropping because somebody getting a little sensitive. Little sensitive. I was just with Cedric the other week, so it was cool to see that commercial with him. And it took me way back, and that's what those commercials are supposed to do when you see the vintage part of that type of stuff. And so I immediately went back to when he was shaking it back in the day. So that was tight, man. It was cool. It was cool to see that.
And then the Cheetos one with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher and Shaggy. And shout out to Bomani Jones, whose tweet just was exactly what I was thinking. He said, I don't know who at Cheetos was like, I think I can get Shaggy. Yeah. Like, who was sitting in the meeting and was like, I think we can swing this. I think now everybody knows, like, if you like do what reminds people of the good times or whatever. Yeah, and I think now that's why everybody's going back like that. I was confused about that commercial for like.
Hey, hold on. We could get Shaggy.
Can we get Shaggy?
Yeah, we could get Shaggy.
What, like on the show?
Yeah. I mean, we could pay Shaggy.
Mr. Boombastic.
When you get a certain level in life, we can get you.
Hold on, man. I don't want to pay Shaggy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get everybody we could get for the price of on the house. Yeah, the price of on the house. Speaking of which, I should get him. Hold on, let's stop talking about who we gonna get on the show.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to next week because I'm hoping to get some good people on the show. I'm not gonna drop no names, but
don't do that. We got a bad rep of dropping names.
The other commercial that I was really digging was the George Costanza commercial. What was that?
Jason Alexander.
Was that Tide? Okay, Tide commercial. I really like that one too. So that one's
a big Seinfeld fan.
I like the Will Ferrell and was that Kale?
That one has
Keenan and Aquafina. Yeah, that was a funny one. That was a funny one.
I just call them Keenan and Kale, but I really like that.
They're a package deal forever. I know Keenan's been talented and he's gone on and done some things, but it's Keenan.
You're still Keenan and Kale, baby.
Yeah,
that's your name.
Welcome to Good Burger, like the whole thing. Sorry, that's how it goes.
Hey, Keenan and Cedric seem like they stayed the same age my whole life. It still seems like he's that 15-year-old kid. Still seems like Ced's that 40-year-old uncle. Yeah. It just seemed like they never aged in life.
You know what Ced did relatively, in my opinion, relatively soon in his career. You know how a lot of comedians, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's almost like they crossover. It's like they're more like R-rated and, you know, for grown-ups, and then they kind of, as they transition into be more of a family type of entertainer. And it seemed like it seems like he crossed over into that realm like relatively quick in his throughout his career as a comedian and as an actor.
Steve Harvey Show. Classic.
Yeah, Steve Harvey Show. I mean, I like way back
Romeo.
then. Yeah. You know, son, he told me the other week, he says that he started comedy late. And I was surprised to hear that. He said he didn't start doing stand-up until he was like 24, where a lot of guys start when they're teenagers. Okay. So that maybe that has something to do with
the definition of a legend in the comedy game.
For sure.
Hey, speaking of going back, hey, shout out to your boy Carl Kanai. I seen some of his clothes down in Louisiana, and they was blown away that he's still popping. I said, man, he overseas doing numbers. They said, for real? Like, yeah.
I've been meaning to have a meeting with that gentleman.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to him. They still selling stuff down in Louisiana in the swamps.
In the swamps.
Got Carl Kanai swamp gear?
Yeah, they got a whole swamp sweatsuit.
Little overall action?
Yeah. Come on, hey man. Hey man. Everybody in Louisiana wear overalls.
Oh, we were talking about swamp gear. I feel like overalls are made for the swamp.
Hey, Shawn. Shawn always say I go down south and I stun on my family. Okay, I don't do that. I went down south and they gave me a real nice SUV, but I had to get an SUV because I had a lot of people riding with me. So I'm pulling up the fishing spots. This lady said, "What you doing in that nice vehicle? You got to be a city boy. You supposed to be out here with a raggedy truck."
What? Proud of our raggedy truck.
It's not even mine. It's not even mine.
I said it's a rental. She's like, yeah, I can tell you're not from here. I'm like, oh man.
I don't like the pressure of getting nice cars for rentals.
Yeah, Carson, I wanted a regular Explorer. They upgraded me to some
nice
SUV.
I want the cheapest rental possible because if it's anything more than that, I feel a lot of pressure.
Pressure for what?
I feel like Shawn in fantasy football. Like you get me in a nice rental. When I went out actually to LA for
go ahead.
Your fight. What was it? Was it a BMW?
Yeah, he pulled up. He said, "I'll pick y'all up." I'm like, all right. Hey, I'm looking. I'm like, what Carson at? He I'm like, that's you.
I'm telling you, like, I seriously, anytime I book for a rental, I'm like, give me the economy car, like a Corolla, that vein, because I don't need anything more than that.
What happened?
They were out. They were really low on cars, so they were like, "Hey, we'll give you a free upgrade. All we have is a BMW." And so I'm like, I seriously did like, oh man, like I was like, all right, I'm figuring out how to like move the seat. I was.
Did they look at you like, why you mad?
I kept it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's cool, but yeah, I was nervous.
So why? But why?
Hey,
because I shouldn't be in a car that nice. I'm a simple man. Like I don't deserve to be in a nice car. Like
I don't deserve.
Like I just want to just be in something that gets me from A to B. That's it.
I mean, I feel Carson. That was my same thing. And then and then every time I rent a car, especially when I go back home, I feel like I got Shawn pointing in my head saying, "You just trying to stun on them." So I was like, "Man, I don't need all that." He's like, "I'm gonna give you a free upgrade."
Yeah,
but you do like you did everything. Like you took them out to dinner. You supposed to.
I didn't stunt on them, but the way you make it feel like I go there, like, yeah, I got it.
For me, the basketball game is what did it for me. Like when you went to a Pelicans game, right?
Yeah.
And like to me, I feel like that's stunting on them. Like, yeah, let's go to a game. Like, All
right, so my brother is not well off as me. My brother hasn't done things I've done in life. I'm blessed enough where I can do stuff for my brother. So I said, I'm coming out there, my brother and sister, I'm going to take care of everything. You ain't got to pay for nothing. I'm a blessing to be a blessing to them. Okay.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what that was. I switched it on you.
I ain't mad at you. That's what I do.
No, you know I am. Though. You know I look out for my people. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hey, if I had it, I'll give them a couple $100,000. I ain't got a couple $100,000 to give.
So what was the car? What was the SUV that you rented?
I think it was like a Mazda or something. Audi, one of those.
Okay. And then, no, because the Audi SUV is nice.
Speaking of cars, I didn't really understand or enjoy the scissor hands commercial one.
Yeah, I ain't really either. But
There was a lot of those.
showing
I
you
was like, okay.
There's a new Cadillac car that will drive itself. That was
that makes me nervous in itself, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
You don't like self-driving cars?
As much as technology can have, anything, a phone, a computer, a TV, anything can have like a momentary lapse. So if that momentary lapse can be a little more crazy than something else,
and every car comes with the warning. So once you hit that button, it'll say, warning, you're not supposed to just allow this car to drive itself. But that's how it works now, man. It finds them sensors and it keep it right where it need to be.
All right, all three of us, not to stunt, we all got new cars, right? Everybody bought a new car up in this group last year. No. Your wife's car is your car. Whatever.
Okay,
yeah, no, we check. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Do you got like it will stay in this lane feature on there?
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, I know you got everything on yours. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. When I was driving the other night, I turned everything on, closed my eyes for a second.
No, you did. I
had to see if it was gonna work.
Hey, look, Carson, he went. Yeah,
there's no way I'm confident enough in that to do that. Shawn remembers, I don't know if you did this in Ohio. I remember if I was getting tired, like if I was driving at night or early in the morning, if it was cold in Ohio, you got to roll the window.
Gotta roll the window down.
Get your arm out the window to try to keep you awake.
Y'all stupid.
We had my dad called this car. He called this van the Scooby-Doo van. Cause I don't know if y'all know Scooby-Doo, but Scooby-Doo, when it would go over hills. Yeah, the mystery machine. When it would go over hills, the wheels would come down and it would stay at level, and it would come back up like that. And so his car, it was busted like that. You know what I mean? We drove down to Southern Ohio to go to a boxing match, right?
Hey, finally boxing, because I feel like boxing fans have long turned off this podcast. FYI, go ahead.
Oh, well, true story, because this is a boxing story. So welcome back, boxing listeners. But we went down to Southern Ohio, and this is about 3 hours away from the Akron area.
Yep.
And they wanted to put me in the ring. At this point, I had over 100 matches. I think I was 14, and they wanted me to fight a kid. Who it was like the hometown kid, the guy that he was supposed to fight didn't show up. This is the funniest thing ever. The kid didn't show up, and so they told my dad, "Can Shawn box this kid?" I don't remember the kid's name. They said, "Can he take it easy on him because it's his first fight, and we know how much experience Shawn has. We'll make it like." True story. We'll make it like a sparring session, right? And I'm sorry I keep saying true story, but I can't believe it. Like as I'm telling the story, it said we'll make it like a sparring session. My dad said, I mean, you know my dad, he don't let nothing, right? He don't let nothing go. He go back and forth with these people. It's gonna be a sparring session. Yes. He comes over to me. He says, "Shawn, listen, we're just saving the show for them. We're doing them a favor. We drove all this way. So get in the ring with this kid. He's never had a fight before. We're gonna take it easy on him, so on and so forth, right?" And my dad says what they're doing is they're gonna just treat it like a sparring session, so it's not gonna go on your record. So don't worry about anything. When it doesn't matter. We're just gonna do this for them, and then we'll get on the road and get home, right? So the first round happens, and I handle kid, no problem. But for something went on in my dad's head, right? I come back to the corner. This is after the first round, and we're young. These are 1.5 rounds. So it flew away.
Roughly.
I'm 14.
Okay.
It flew by. And I'm 14. So I'm like, I'm the guy, So I come back to the corner. My dad gets in the ring, right? He gets in the ring. He says, "I don't like this shit. Put it on him. Put it on him now. We going home after this fight. It don't matter. Put it on him. It's not a sparring session anymore. Fight this kid, beat him down, and we're going home after this. Don't matter, right?" So I'll go back out, and for the next 2 rounds, I pretty much like dusted this dude all over the ring, and I mean, like it was bad to the point where I felt bad. And this wasn't the agreement, right? And I came back after the 3rd round, and knowing that I won, and my dad is still like really like just like anxious and upset and everything, right? Go to the center for them to announce the winner, and they raise the other kid's hand.
Oh, hell no.
My dad went off. My dad went off. He went off so bad on everybody. He's cussing and screaming. They had to pull him out and all that kind of stuff. We get back in the car, in the van that at this point he hates because this is so raggedy, and we got to drive 3.5 hours to get home after they robbed me of a decision. And as myself and my two brothers, we're in the van, and he's telling us not to fall asleep. 3.5 hour drive. You know what time a amateur fight start? It's like 10 or 11 o'clock. And so we back on the road now. He telling us that we can't fall asleep. So we all nodding off and we try to fight our sleep. My dad changing the music. He turning it up, turning it down. Now it's raining. He rolling the windows down. Put his arm out the window just to stay awake. He yelling at us to keep him up and everything. It was a mess, man. So yeah, that's what happens, and even at the amateur level. So, but that's being as far away from that moment as I am now. It's funny, especially when we're talking about cars and the things that we have now compared to the things that we used to have or didn't have. It's amazing.
Hey, man, speaking of your dad, his fighter got another win last week.
Yeah, man. Maliek Montgomery is now 6-0 with 6 knockouts. And he fights in 2 weeks. Can't get much better than that. And he fights in 2 weeks. So,
where? Back in Mexico?
No, down in Tampa Bay, I believe.
Oh, are we going to Tampa?
We're not going to Tampa.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
We'll have them on next week, so we'll know exactly what's going on with Mr. Montgomery from Macon, Georgia, and also my dad as well. So my dad did a real professional this week. He had somebody reach out to me, somebody I ain't never met before. Hey, this CC, we want to get Maliek on the podcast. It's their earliest available time. Let me know. Today, So.
It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
I read it. I was like, I don't know you.
You're a Seinfeld fan, so it reminds me of when Kramer had the assistant. And he's coming over to his apartment asking for stuff, and Jerry's like, "What? Come on, like we know each other. What are you doing?" But that's classic. We want to do some fan questions.
Hey, Maliek is actually 7-0 now.
I don't know.
Even 7-0. Excuse me, 7-0. Yeah, we'll have him on next week and catch up on everything. And pretty much that's all I had to say about that. Yeah, that's it. Let's get some of these questions.
So I have a few, and a couple of these were from last week, so I don't have a name.
Hold on, man. We got to shout out one of our guys fighting next week on the zone. February. Shane Mosely.
Is that next week?
Yeah, it is next week.
Yeah,
we'll have a show before then, though.
No, like it's this weekend, ain't it? Hold on.
Yeah, no, it's the weekend coming up, so we'll probably recap it.
Is it the 13th?
Yeah.
This weekend.
I was thinking 23rd for some reason. Yeah. Shout out to Shane.
Yeah, he's fighting another undefeated guy. His actual last opponent had to pull out, personal reasons, sickness, something. So he'll be fighting this week on the zone down in Indio, California.
He lives out here, trains out here. I heard he's been looking as good as he could look in camp. Yeah. I heard that this has been like a really solid camp, and that's coming from a source who does not pull punches, so they told me that he's looking good. I'm like, all right. So,
Shane got a lot of pressure on his back with the name. But, I think he's ready for it and working hard, man. He got a lot to prove to people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so.
I gave him a great nickname suggestion. It fell upon deaf ears. So
what? Here go. What did you say?
Obviously, his dad, Sugar Shane Mosely, legend. I said he should be Sweet and Low. Sweet and Low Shane Mosely Jr.
No.
First off, it flows. Don't pretend like it doesn't. And it's not sugar, so you're not like literally following in the footsteps, but you're close. It's sugar adjacent. But no, yeah, I think like you mentioned, I think it's a lot of pressure having that name. But I think now is when he needs to start putting some wins together.
Yeah.
It can't be one step forward, 2 steps back. It needs to be progressing forward at this point.
I can't remember what Brother Nassim used to call
I know
RIP,
his name now is the Sugar Man nickname.
Oh,
Yeah, and I feel like you're going with something close to sugar, sweet and low.
Oh, you really upset about that?
Because I made this pitch and I feel like it was laughed off.
Why I feel like I heard this discussion at my house between you and him.
It probably was because I feel like it flows better than the Sugar Man, but Shane is his own man and he's a talented fighter and a very good guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the, I think he, unlike Shawn, actually is maybe one of the nicer guys in boxing.
Oh, that's a good one. He might have taken
Shane
that
Jr.'s got to be up there.
He's up and coming. So like I'm there. I'm established.
This guy.
You're the mandatory nicest guy in boxing.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So fan questions. So this actually was an interesting one. I found enjoyable. So I don't have a name for this one. This was a couple weeks ago. They said, how do you avoid becoming predictable in the ring? And are the ring adjustments, is that typically done on the fly? Or is it muscle memory? How exactly does that go?
Not being predictable. Not everybody can do it. I'm very versatile in the ring. I can do a lot of different things. So that helps with me not being predictable. When it comes to the actual fight, the way you become unpredictable it's like everything is like, it's like a cadence. It's like everything is sequenced with boxing. And the more you're able to shake up the sequence and give your guy different looks or different things to adjust to, that's how you become unpredictable. So the guys who can feint a lot or who have good foot movement, but also have good hand speed. I think really the most unpredictable guys to me are guys who can counterpunch, because it's like you don't know when they're, going to go from defense to offense, which is a little harder. Guys who are willing to show their hands and be first, making adjustments against those guys, or those guys being more predictable is a little easier. It's almost like when you're being first, it's almost like you see something, you see a raise or you see, a shift, and it's like, what's coming. So that's how that goes. And then making adjustments, I think for the most part, it's all done in the preparation of the fight. So you watch film, or coaches watch film, and they figure out what a guy does well, what a guy likes to do. I'll go ahead and say it. We look for tendencies, things like that, things that guys do, pretty consistently, and then we make adjustments in our approach to the fight based on what they do. And then when you come up into the fight, it's all about what different is this guy doing that I prepare for, and then the good guys are able to make those adjustments and pull out those victories.
So this one is a lengthy one, but I'm going to read all of it because it was a really well worded and very interesting insight. So this is from Sly Fox on Twitter.
Okay.
Sly Fox says, my question is, why don't more boxers emulate Floyd's isms? So Floydisms. Say what you want, but he was probably the most efficient boxer of all time. He was minimalistic, and he never wasted a weight transition. He always layered his offense with pattern and rhythm-based variations to squeeze the maximum amount of juice out of the same attack sequences. Feints, preparatory motions were purposeful and intentionally disguised to look exactly the same. Then he makes a music reference, which I enjoy. Said, as a musician, the best analogy I can think of is blues players. If Roy Jones Jr. is Hendrix, then Mayweather is B.B. King. Deceptively simple and efficient. Hope that makes sense. Which it did.
Yeah, well written.
Yeah, shout out to Sly Fox.
Shout out to him for that. I was in the ring one time with Shane. Shane was taking me through some things. He was showing me some things, and one thing he showed me, I tried it. I think I tried it twice, and it didn't flow. Did not flow. And after the second time, I looked at him and I chuckled. Come on, champ, man. Come on. You got it, man. Just keep working it. I said, Shane, I'm not going to be able to do that, man. He said, no, champ, you got it, man. You can do it. I said, Shane, I'm not you. I can't do that, man. That you've done that your whole life. Like, that's who you are. I can't do that. And he said, champ, man, you could do it. I said, all right, we can try it again, but I'm telling you, it's going to look exactly like it just did. And of course it did, because there's things that Shane can do or could do that no one else could do, and that's just how it goes with some people. Some people are so special that to the naked eye, it may look like something that could be repeated or imitated, things like that. But it can't be. And I got a good feeling that the things that Floyd could do are so natural and instinctive that not a lot of other guys can do it. Even the shoulder roll. I think with training, it can be done much better than a lot of these guys do it. But a lot of these guys see what Floyd has done, and they try to do that. That shoulder roll is, I think, probably the more famous, most famous move that's done now in boxing because of Floyd. But it's just one of those things where a lot of guys cannot pull it off, and it's because there's some other intangibles that come with that move that a lot of guys just don't have. And so even in asking that question, hey man, why don't you do what he does? It's like, it looks great and it was great, but it's his. He can do it, and I won't dare try it because I know that I can't pull it off. So one thing that I have done though is I've really taken a lot of moves and things like that from other fighters that I've seen, amateur and pro, because I'm a little bit of a chameleon in the ring. I can do a lot of things.
Watching a bad shoulder roll is one of the most frustrating things to watch in boxing. But
I think it was
Andre Berto, Adrian Broner.
Yeah,
it's
Andre
just
Berto
a lot of people tried that.
Victor Ortiz, the first fight that he had with the first fight. Remember the first fight he had? He came out just like this in the very first round, trying to do that shoulder roll, and it got him messed up.
I think once he realized his chin was suspect, that's when he brought out the shoulder roll.
Mm-hmm.
So last one, I think this actually might even be mostly directed at Ant. I don't have a name for this one, but how do you feel about Charlo Harrison 3?
Oh, let's do it, baby.
Somebody said you want to see it. I'm down for it.
Go ahead, Shawn.
No, that's directed towards you.
It was directed towards everyone, but Ant loves that fight, as do I.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight. I actually think, yes. You don't think that's a good fight? You brought up a good point. I actually think he's one of the guys that actually make him think. He doesn't just do the consistently same thing. The only problem with Harrison is the goddamn chin.
Mm-hmm.
He's chinny. Mm-hmm. He has to protect. Maybe he needs to do show roller. Besides that, the lead up to this fight is everything, man. It's everything for a fight. I think that's. I don't even care if they get in the ring. As long as they can just talk trash.
You just want a versus battle of trash talk?
No, but it's just a great lead up, and I mean, honestly, both of the fights are pretty dang good fights.
From what I know, Harrison is just a different type of dude. I know some guys who have trained with him, and they said that he does things in training that are just, they're like, man, he's fast, he's sharp, and he's like that at all times. And a lot of guys aren't like that through an entire camp. Some guys, like, you kind of go through, it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. But from what I've heard, he is solid. But when it comes to the main event, when it comes to the big show, I think that there's a disconnect there. And my whole thing is, when you have been hurt the way that you've been hurt time and time again, and you see when it happens later on in the fights that he's had, that he's gotten hurt in. And it's almost like it's a psychological thing, that it's a psychological war that he hasn't been able to get over, So in the fight with Charlo, where, Charlo has problems with guys who can box. Charlo has got problems with guys who can move, and forces him to use his feet and not just stand right there for the big punch. And so that's where he presents the problems, Harrison, against Charlo. But then with Charlo, it's like, especially with him, but with him, it's like, you can't take that punch. That punch, Harrison cannot take that punch, and it's coming. And they stay strong through the course of an entire fight, and it's been proven now.
That second fight, I think I mentioned previously on here, I forgot how in control Harrison was in that second fight, because we all had, even the unofficial scoring, we all had Harrison still winning, somewhat comfortably. There were some knockdowns, but I would like to see it. I don't know if there's enough that Harrison can do to beat Charlo again, just because of what Shawn said. I think you've been hit by that and you've been hurt by that punch multiple times now. I don't think, because he was fighting a great fight in that second fight. You just couldn't avoid it. And Charlo, I think, if anything, has improved because he's been in there 2 times now with Tony. And I don't think Harrison can make more adjustments than Charlo, if that makes sense. I think Harrison fought like Charlo 1, I think was the best Tony Harrison we could see against Charlo.
Mm-hmm.
Charlo 2, it was still pretty good, but he gets caught. Mm-hmm. I think Charlo continues to rise, and I think Harrison, if anything, is the same or maybe even gone down a little bit. And I love Tony Harrison, Midwest guy, shout out. But
I agree with that as well.
Carson, what about the I always say with the killers, you can't just let a killer come and get you. They're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You got to go get a killer. Shawn with Earl, Tyson Fury with Wilder.
Yeah.
You think that'll work for Harrison Charlo? You think he can go get him, or you think he's going to?
I don't, just because of how he was impacted by those big shots. I think he got hit by those shots, and I don't think it was happenstance. I think Charlo had him measured out and had the distance that he needed. So I think, if anything, if he tries to, I like the idea that you got to sometimes bully the bully, but I think that goes all bad for Harrison if he tried that.
It's also his style too. Charlo doesn't. Excuse me, not Charlo.
Yeah, Harrison.
Excuse me, Harrison. Harrison doesn't really have that go at him type of style. There's a difference between a guy being, hurt and on the ropes, and a guy going after him, and a guy who can actually just sit right there in the pocket and find his range and his rhythm and keep it and sustain it. Harrison does not have that kind of style, so
he would give a lot of the guys in that division hell, though.
I don't understand why he's not fighting.
I hear he's training, so I think he's supposed to be having a fight soon. So I think Harrison is a gifted enough boxer for somebody that, like, Charlo has that just equalizer, which we saw 75 commercials for tonight. Shout out to Queen Latifah. But Charlo has that where he can wipe you out in an instant. So I think for a guy in that division that doesn't have that, I think Harrison can make a very long night for a lot of boxers. Another thing, a lot of people, because Tony, especially as seeing him late, he's been such a boxer that people forget that he has a punch of his own.
Yeah,
he can deliver that right hand too. So, but again, when you concealing it and you're not using it because you playing safe or wherever the case may be, you miss your opportunities too.
And I don't think, but the thing about it, Shawn, I don't think Charlo ever been in a position where he's been bullied. AKA Tyson Fury, Wilder. I don't think Wilder ever got bullied like that second fight. So if you get put, you guys probably won't fight. Let's say you guys do. You're going to get him. Yeah. No point. He's never seen him, no BS like that ever. That'll be like, what the hell? Yeah. But I think that may be because he cleaned out the division. There's no point in him even stay with 154.
Yeah.
Who fights it? What's the point? Division out.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who's out there.
What do y'all think? He goes to 160 with it? I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know what he does.
I would like to see the Charlos continue on the path that they're on. I think they both are able to make a statement in every fight they have. I mean, look at about a year ago, they fight on the doubleheader and both pick up some good wins there. I think I just want to see them continue to get those big fights. Triple G maybe for the other Charlo, but
the younger one, the 154. That's the problem.
I don't know if you go to 60 because 54 there's not a whole lot there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 54
again,
it's not having the kind of glamorous career that a lot of people would expect or whatever.
Man, I don't even know if Hurd wants to fight anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. All those guys are like, I'm looking at the standings. You got obviously Charlo top dog. Then you got Hurd, Lara, Rosario, Williams, Castano, Harrison, Lubin,
Lara,
Teixeira. I know Teixeira has a belt. I think he's the WBO belt. Fight doesn't do a ton for me as far as a fan perspective, but grab another belt, I guess.
You don't like your boy against him,
Lara?
Yeah.
It'll be a good fight, and prime Lara beats Charlo.
Prime Lara beats Charlo,
but
he's not
right now. I think Charlo, because Lara has not looked like anywhere near prime Lara. But
we're gonna get a Castano. We're gonna get something.
It's gonna be some. There's just not. It's tough. There's just not a ton of options.
Boxing just does. That's what boxing does. It just lets me down.
And he's the kind of fighter that will go at Charlo, but he's not going at him with
with anything.
A big arsenal. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, man. That's it for the night.
What you doing? doing? We got a question.
No, that was it. That was the last one I had off top. RIP Leon Spinks before we go.
Yeah, let's maybe we'll talk about him next show. I know we're a little over time, but
best boxing family of all time.
Yeah, one of
number one.
Yeah, they got Leon,
Michael,
and Corey. Yeah,
that's pretty nice. I don't know about one of, Sean. That might be the one.
One of.
I don't know about one of. I don't know one of.
It'll be the one.
It could be.
Yeah. The Mayweathers up there.
The Mayweathers are up there.
Oh, I don't know, Carson.
The Klitschko's and other people would throw in there. It's not really my thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and nominate Spinks.
Okay. We'll rock with it until we find till someone says different.
The Charlos.
Yeah.
They're there now.
If they continue to do the damn things that they're doing, hell yeah. But yeah, I'm sure in the comments people will cook that Spinks pick for number one. So feel free, go ahead. Let us know who your favorite boxing family or who the best boxing family is, and tell us why I was stupid to say.
In 20 years, the Porters. He got 2 little killers coming up.
Man, listen, Leon actually was a great man. I had an opportunity to be around him. We attended the same church, so I had a lot of opportunities to be around him with WBC and things like that. I hadn't seen him in some time, but I just remember at this point in his life, he was nothing but smiles, and he was even funny when he got mad. He was funny when he got mad because it was like he just was really disgruntled. And you did it almost like a kid. You did one thing for him, and he's like, "All right, we're good," So he was a great man, and blessings to his family, the Spinks family, and everyone. And on that note, bless everybody else out there, and we will catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Hey, I'm going back to Louisiana.
For what?
In 4 months, man. I gotta go back. Ain't no reason. I don't need no reason to go home.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Portaway Podcast.